Hi gang, welcome back. I'm going to try to make this one short and sweet. This is our new strategy this week is called Sq3R. It's a great strategy and it does a lot to combine a lot of the things that we've done already. So Sq3R is a whole process for reading and understanding and remembering and working with the information that you've read. It has some steps to take before you read, while you're reading, and after you're reading. That's what really a good reading strategy, what you want out of a good reading strategy. So Sq3R stands for survey, question, read, and if it's a reading strategy, you're probably going to have to read, right? Recite, and review. Now, of course, you know what surveying is. This is nothing different than the kind of surveying we've done up until now. Take 30 seconds, a minute, thumbing through the chapter, getting the feel for the big picture, thinking about your prior knowledge, formulating your expectations. So surveying, of course, happens before you read, right? Take a minute or two, kind of survey it over, get a feel for where this is going. If I were you in most of your classes, I'd look at my notes from your previous class, because that'll tell you what the teacher thought was important. And so as you're reading through, you can find the ideas that relate to that. Step two, you can do questioning before, during, and after, of course. And in that sense, this Sq3R is considered a recursive process, where it's not like just top to bottom and you're done. You kind of keep going back through it. Well, for our purposes, we're going to say this is a before. And all we're doing here is, there's a lot of different ways you can do questioning, but for our purposes, we're going to talk about taking those headings and turning them into questions. I can hear you already. Major headings or subheadings. What's my answer? Both, right. So, let's see. Survey, just regular survey. Skimming through to get a feel for the big picture. Questioning, turning those headings into questions. And just like before, we're going to read and look for the answers. So reading happens during reading, not a huge surprise. So as you read, go ahead and take your notes. Do all the stuff you're normally doing when you're trying to do some study reading. Read and annotate. The next step, when you're finished reading, is recite. Now, I don't know about you, but when I hear the word recite, I think about like memorizing a poem and then reciting the whole thing word for word. Or like I go to a piano recital and somebody's memorized how to play something on a piano and how they play it. This isn't that. Nobody expects you to memorize whatever chapter it is you're working on in your textbook. So a better word for this is probably to retell. Now that you're done reading, so this is an after reading step, retell it in your own words. Look, this is just like when you come out of a movie and you're talking about it with your friends. No one expects you to go from the very beginning all the way to the closing credits word for word. It's not like that. You just talk about it. Oh, here's what this movie was about. Here's what we saw. Here's what we did, right? Then when you're done putting things in your own words, also after, go back and make sure you didn't miss anything. It's called a fixing strategy. You always have to incorporate some kind of a fixing strategy because you don't know if you got it all the first time. Even when you're perfect, you don't get it all the first time. So as you're retelling it, and I strongly encourage you to do this step physically with somebody. After you've read chapter, whatever it is you're reading, chapter 14, chapter 12, after you're finished reading whatever it is you're reading, talk about it with somebody. Here's what I just read about. Here's what they said. Because as you're saying that, sometimes, if you're doing this with a movie, as you're saying it, sometimes you come to a point you're like, oh yeah, what happened there? You felt like you understood it perfectly, but as you had to start retelling it, you realized that there was some gaps in your memory or in your understanding. That's normal, right? You're not perfect about everything all the time. So you may forget something or you may overlook a detail when you're doing your recite, your retell step. So go back and fix it. Fill in the gaps. So this is Sq3R. You'll notice that in a lot of ways it incorporates a lot of the other strategies that we've done. We've obviously done surveying and questioning. We talked about annotating, putting things in your own words. I've been hassling you to put stuff in your own words since day one. So this in many ways is nothing new. It's a culmination, a combination of a lot of the other strategies that we've done so far. So you're going to see when you get into the homework assignment, basically what I want you to do is go ahead and survey. I ask you to write down a couple of questions or whatever based on the heading. Then, obviously, since you can't just retell it out into the universe, I'm asking you to kind of write down what it is you remember from all that. So in some ways it's immediate recall, although I don't expect you to do it just in 5 minutes or something like that. And then after you've written down everything you can in your own words, in complete sentences, in paragraph form, go back, maybe kind of survey, skim through the chapter, make sure you didn't miss anything important. And if you did, go ahead and record that below. You'll see on the worksheet, it's all laid out, it's all very simple for you. But I think you're going to like this. I think this is a very powerful approach. If you commit to adopting this with anything that you're study reading that you have to read for school, I think you're going to find that there's a lot of benefits to it. A little preview work, a little review work, then a little work in the middle. I think this is a really strong reading strategy, and I hope you find it beneficial to you. So SQ3R, this is our new strategy that you're going to apply with this week's chapter in your textbook, and take them one step at a time. Don't skip steps, don't try to go too fast, and I think you're going to find that this is a really potent strategy for you. Until next time, thanks for playing along with me.